welcome to Irrationally, Irrational, the podcast where there is no true concept of right or wrong. Together we will explore sensitive and unique topics from a rational point of view in an attempt to understand the emotional thoughts that lie within us. The goal is to encourage dialogue between myself and you, the viewers, in the hopes of pursuing a positive impact in these rather troubling times to those that are listening. Simply put, if you find yourself questioning your current views and wanting to explore your own personal feelings deeper on the topic at hand, then you are on the right track. This is the Irrationally Rational podcast. On today's first episode, we are going to discuss why freedom needs to reign supreme. So, pretty interesting when you bring this topic up. Because, well, what does that really mean? What does freedom actually mean? Because out of all the different things that we could have talked about and mentioned as a very first podcast, this is the thing that comes to mind. Why should I be allowed to say what I want? Why should you be allowed to say what you want? You know? It's a very interesting concept because the more that you really think about it, the more that it leads to pain. And how we handle pain and how we handle freedom, I've really began to notice, are very closely linked together. And the more that I think about it, and the older that I seem to get, the more I begin to realize that it's perfectly okay to get hurt. Here's what I mean. What I mean is, I'm not talking about in a physical sense where somebody non-consensually causes physical harm to you. I don't think that's right. What I do think is right, on the other hand, is to be challenged. Is to be put in a position where you just don't blindly believe whatever is being thrown your direction. I don't think that's cool, and I have a problem with people who generally feel that way. And there's a fine line between all this. There's a fine line between if you want to basically, quote unquote, be a puppet and blindly believe whatever is thrown your direction, then that's cool. I can learn to live with that as long as you are willing to accept the negligence and the ignorance that lies within not questioning your beliefs, not questioning just everything around you to a reasonable degree. That's it. And I would have no issue if somebody said, hey, my name is Joe and I don't like questioning things. I just like turning on the news, like listening to my CNN, my Fox News, whatever. And that's what I believe and that's what I'm sticking to it. Hey, more power to you. That's cool because I'm not trying to take away what makes you you. On the flip side to that is don't try and do the same to me. Don't come and try and take away something that is unique to me, something that is unique to my beliefs, because this is what freedom is. And this is something that, is actively being explored and is actively being exploited at the same time. I mean, it's hard when you really think about it. It's hard to come to the realization, the real, genuine realization, that in order to allow freedom, I have to tolerate a lot of shit that I just flat out do not like. Do I like racist? Absolutely not. Believe it or not, but I'm Mexican. I'm a dual citizen. I'm Mexican and American. So when I first came to this country, me personally, I experienced an absolute tons amount of racism. Has that kind of defined me into the person that I am to a certain degree? Yes. Do I myself at times have racist thoughts or have racist undertones? I wouldn't even say undertone is the right word, but does my mind, if I'm not careful, go dark at times? It absolutely does. And the beauty about freedom is it allows me to explore those thoughts. It allows me to explore those feelings. And when I do my own tracing, and when I do my own soul searching in a way, it makes me realize that these thoughts and these beliefs are tied to pain, and they are tied to horrible experiences that I've had. And what I really think is important in today's society is we cut the bullshit. We cut the crap where everyone is so focused on being right. Everyone is so focused on not showing any weakness, on not showing any vulnerability. And when we do that, it makes it almost impossible for us to connect. But see, this moment that I'm sharing, this little possible tinker of lowering of the armor, it would not have been possible without freedom. It would not have been possible without me being able to know that while I am not free of actions, of consequences for what I say, I still can technically say what I can say, and then risk whatever actions or consequences may lay in my direction then. But this is why it all circles back to freedom, because at the end of the day, I do personally believe that the overwhelmingly majority of this population in the world generally does mean good. And there's a lot of obstacles that need to be overcome, and especially depending on what part of the world you were born, those obstacles do stack. It becomes a lot harder to be free when you feel like there's no escape. This is why, growing up in a government-funded housing complex, I have a lot of empathy, and I can generally do my best to understand where people of the African American community come from, and the struggles that they've gone through, because I've been there myself. But I also do take a step back and remind myself that being a Mexican citizen myself, poverty is a real thing. And at the end of the day, for my own personal feelings, the only real privilege in this world is living in a first world country. Because I love America. I love what the U.S. has been able to provide, the opportunity that somebody like me and somebody like my family was able to come, was able to experience, and was able to overcome. It wasn't through hate, it wasn't through being a victim, it was through just pure perseverance, pure desire to grow, and pure desire to become the very best that you can possibly be. And that's what makes America great, is of course you have so many flaws, you have so many things that really suck when I really stop and think about it. But it's the fact that what America really comes down to is where you really choose to focus your energy on, that is where you can thrive. There's absolutely no guarantee in this world that no matter what you do, no matter how hard you try, that you're going to be a success, or a success according to a person's own definition, so to say. That's also what people seem to get it twisted, is you can. Can does not mean a guarantee. Can does not mean that if you do everything quote unquote by the book, and you do everything that you were told or that you believed was going to lead to success, that it's going to happen. Growing up, I thought that I had to go to college. I had to go to college in order to become a success. And then later on, I realized, wait a minute, that was a lie. That was a complete spoonful lie that was fed to me, and I bought it. And it wasn't until my freshman year of my community college where I flat out realized, you don't have to go to college to become a success. And even then, as I got older, as I finished my bachelor's, that's when I realized that I didn't even need this. I just chose to do it for my mom. And the fact that I was able to overcome these steps, so to say, is what makes this story that much more beautiful. Is I can take a step back and say that while there's a number of things that I can improve in my life, at the end of the day, I'm pretty happy. I'm pretty okay. And that alone is a victory, considering all the hurdles and steps and obstacles that I've had to overcome to get to this point. So when I think back, and I realize that at the end of the day, things are not perfect. At the end of the day, there are many things that we as a society, we as a civilization and a species can really work on. I can take a step back and go, at least in the United States, we have freedom where many others Do not. And if it wasn't for that freedom and that ability to express myself, that ability to voice my opinions, to pursue growth, and just simply pursue the pursuit of happiness, as Thomas Jefferson would so beautifully put. If it wasn't for these things, I would not be the person that I am today, and I wouldn't be in the position that I am today. So while, again, yes, there are many things that we can work on, at the end of the day, the fact that we even can, period, is what freedom is all about. And that is what makes America such a great country. Thank you for listening. This has been episode 1 of the Irrationally Rational podcast.